Hey guys, it's Humble Spirit, and today I'm going to talk about, a couple of interesting things that's been in the news lately and have been in the media. So I hope you guys come back and join me, and I hope you're ready.
I'm keeping it real, them killers are still in political suits. And I hated his people, there's nothing my brother knows he could do. But sit back and pray as we watching the news and we take the abuse.
So guys, thank you to whomever is listening. I really, really appreciate it. You guys coming back, tuning in. I appreciate whomever has liked our podcast page. On Facebook, who's followed on Twitter. I really, really appreciate that. You guys are really cool. But yeah, like I said, we're going to talk about just like a couple of things that has just been in the news and the media lately. I don't know if you guys been keeping up with it, or if you guys been seeing the craziness that's been in the news. And I mean, I'm not going to talk about all of it, of course, right? But I am going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to touch on a couple of things that I found pretty interesting. So you guys know I like to start this thing right off. So for starters, we're going to start with the Rihanna and Chris Brown thing. I really don't know if you guys heard about that on Snapchat, but basically, give you a brief thing about it. They were basically asking, would you rather slap Rihanna or punch Chris Brown? Now, I mean, guys, honestly, like my whole being and my whole spirit screams like that this is demonic in its own way, But I mean, I don't know how you guys view that, and I don't know if you guys participated, and I really, really hope you did not. Um, but like I said, I mean, it's very demonic, and I mean, in a world that glorifies pain and evil, it's like what do we really expect of people at this point? But I mean, guys, look around and tell me what last day signs, isn't happening right now, right? So our Heavenly Father says in Matthew 24:12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And that was Matthew 24:12. This is a perfect example of what Snapchat, did. What happened and went down on Snapchat. People have no love for one another anymore. Like, none. Like, people don't even really hold the door for you anymore. People, you could be on your last breadcrumb and people, wouldn't even care, honestly. Um, people want bad things to happen to other people now. They're wishing bad upon another person. And it's honestly very crazy because, all the while they're wishing bad upon their brethren, they're forgetting that we are all one. We're all one in the body of our Lord. So, I mean, that's kind of, I think that's kind of crazy that they would wish bad upon their own brother. Like if you're in a family, a big family, and you have brothers and you have sisters, I mean, you wouldn't wish bad upon your brother or your sister, I guess, unless that's y'all's relationship or, whatever's going on with you guys. But just logically speaking, I mean, you're not going to wish bad upon your family. We are all one, so, we just can't wish bad upon each other, which is what went down, in this whole Snapchat thing. And like I said, the love of many will grow cold, because will wax cold. Sorry, because I mean, what is out here teaching us to be any better, you know? Besides the Holy Bible, but I mean, nobody's really truly picking that up. But like I said, we can't wish bad upon each other, and which is kind of what some people were doing with Rick Ross, which is our next subject. And I just thought this story was interesting because you could tell it was all fabricated. Um, and so I don't know, like I said, if you guys heard about the Rick Ross situation. I really wasn't going to talk about this, but I mean, it's kind of interesting because if you guys have been following it, I think he was in the hospital for like what 7 or 8 days, and they said that he was in like ICU and on like life support and like all that crazy stuff. And I mean, I'm no nurse or anything or doctor or anything, but after doing a little research, I mean, you cannot. I mean, even if you have money, like you can't recover from ICU, after you've been in there for over 48 hours. You can't recover in a week, after being in there for longer than 48 hours. So, I mean, I just think that's kind of off top crazy. And they sent him home saying additional medical support. I don't know, while he was supposedly in the hospital, they came with different stories about him actually being in there or not. Sometimes they were saying he was in there, sometimes they were saying he wasn't. He was posting Instagram posts, I think one or two. And everybody was like, how's he posting while he's like in ICU? Like, because it was fabricated. But, I just feel like they're trying to confuse the masses, as they do. And, I mean, but if anybody's been paying attention to Rick Ross, I mean, his body has been, like, changing for a while now. Everybody says that he's, like, losing weight or on some type diet plan or something. But come on, the dude owns, like, chicken wing place or something. I mean, he's losing weight. I don't know. But, which leads me to think, maybe they had some sort of plan, to unveil the new Rick Ross. If you guys understand what I'm saying with that. Look up cloning if you haven't already. But like I said, I don't know if you heard much about this, but, I just feel like it's a crazy, very deceptive story, and just something that people ate up. They ate it right up, just like people eat up, pretty much everything that the media and Satan puts out here. Whatever he puts out here, you guys run to it, flee to it, and cling to it. So, kind of like these date naps out here, which is our next subject and our next topic. So they have this new dating app that takes DNA and finds a match for you. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about dating apps or anything like that. I don't know how you guys feel about dating online or anything to that nature, but I don't know, it's like, now when I think about this, I'm thinking, like, how did we get here? Does anybody ever ask that? How do we get to this point where we need a, like where we need a dating app that takes our DNA? I don't know. It's mind blowing. So I'm like, just trying to process that. And, my brain goes to why don't we have old fashioned dating still? Whatever happened to that? Why don't people like to still, meet someone in person? People are so addicted to swiping to the left or to the right, and texting, that we aren't trying to talk to a person, actually in person. I hope you guys understand that. We aren't trying to, because the world has isolated us all, because Satan doesn't want us all out here as one. He doesn't want us, coming together, being one, like I just said. He doesn't want us to be one. He wants us to be against each other, wish harm on each other. He wants us to just be behind these screens and just be on these phones, and instead of trying to really engage with a person in person. He wants us to be out here and have broken homes, just get with somebody because they say some good stuff online, and then actually get with them and probably have a baby, or, like switch up your life some kind of way, and then your life ends up, getting ruined because you from jump wasn't with the right person. But they said everything good online, and you thought that person was, everything. But that's the setup and that's the plan. So, like I said, these things are crazy. And, um, you know, I like to talk to a person, like actually in person, and have base my perception of them and base whatever off of actually talking to them in person, and actually seeing them in actuality, in real time, and seeing them how they might react to certain things, or whatever, because that is truly how you get to know a person. You cannot get to know a person online. You cannot get to know a person just because they have 100,000 dating apps. I mean, that does not mean whatever. Just because they have commercial, what is that, eHarmony or something? I don't know. But just because they have that, I mean, that doesn't mean that there's like, I mean, it's guaranteed to work and whatever. I mean, I've seen like a bunch of, I think, news, little segments where they're like, oh, dating online is not the move. They're like, these dating apps and this online dating stuff is very dangerous. And come on, guys, like, guys especially. Now, like, women, you guys need to be worried too. But guys, like, you guys really need to be watching out, because there's so many transgendered people out here. And so, you might think you're talking to a girl and she's really not a girl. Or, for the women, you might think you're talking to a man, but he's really not a man. So you guys really need to pay attention, to what they're throwing out here for you. Because like I always say, I mean, nothing that they throw out here is going to be for your benefit. It's to get you caught up. And guys, you guys especially, because men have been getting set up from the beginning. So, I mean, it's all a setup, I feel like, and I don't even feel like dating apps are even necessary, because like I said, I mean, if a transgendered person, I mean, walks up to you in person, you might be able to tell that that person is transgender. But if you're talking to them and you're only reading their words and seeing this little perfectly lit up picture and perfect Photoshop picture, I guess, using filters and whatever. I mean, that can fool you in an instance. But if you are talking to a person in person and, whatever, you have a better discernment. You can then better see if that person is for you or not. So, I would say, really, guys, please don't be on these dating apps, because they are the devil's trap. And I'm sure he lives and breathes on there, just like he does with, all social media. But I definitely don't think, honestly, you should be spending your time, or we collectively should be spending our time on dating apps when the world, is ending right before our eyes. Let's be real. Like I said earlier, I mean, there's hardly any signs it's not happening. Now, there's some to come, but probably the Big Bang stuff. But everything that's supposed to be happening right now is happening. So I don't think we need to spend our time on dating apps, like I said, because the world is ending right around us, crumbling around us, and ending right before our eyes. Which leads me to the next topic. Now, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but it kind of like tripped me out. Costco selling Doomsday kits. I don't even know, like, this is crazy, guys. Like, what do you mean you're selling Doomsday kits? Pick up a Bible. What is wrong with picking up a Bible, building that connection, that strong connection with the Most High? You don't need no Doomsday kit. He gonna let you know everything you need to know. I just, like, my mind goes every different place, because I'm like, that's insane, I definitely don't think this is shocking. Like, this is not a shocking, like, situation, of course, because they know what's about to happen. So, of course, they're gonna say, here's some, Doomsday kits. I mean, they had the show, I don't know if it's on still, but they had the Doomsday Preppers. I seen someone on Twitter talking about this, like last week or something, but, exactly. I mean, they had that for the longest. Already letting you know, I mean, be prepared. Something's gonna happen. Everybody prepares in their own way, right? I mean, people prepare with these Doomsday kits. I wonder how many sold, though. I need to look that up, because I would love to know how